Rejoice 1023 as we take back our streets and win 10,000 souls for the kingdom. Now's the time for you to share the word of God with your friends and family who have yet to receive Christ as their Lord and Savior. Share the good news with those who are lost. We want to know how many souls you have led to Christ. Log on to rejoice102.com for more information on how to win the lost back to Christ.
Hello, everybody. This is Daryl King, and I want you to help me. I want you to join the WYCA 102.3 Facebook fan page now. All you've got to do is go to our website, www.rejoice102.com, and join our Facebook fan page. Click the like button, LIKE, and join today for free. Check it out. Tickets, fabulous prizes, and so much more. So join now. Go to www.rejoice102.com and join our Facebook fan page. Click the like button and join today.
Rejoice 102.3, the best choice for music and ministry.
Now, here is the Let's Stay Together show with Reverend Rick McCain and author Brenda McCain, helping you to learn the rhythms of relationships. Because to know my glory, you have to know my backstory.
One of the most difficult things to do is find yourself in a storm. And while in that storm, it seems like everyone who you thought you could count on has walked away. And sometimes it seems like even God himself has forgotten about you. But in spite of that, to still be able to lift your hands and say, Lord, I trust you.
Trust you, Lord, how I love you so much. Though my nights may seem long and I feel so alone, Lord, my trust is in you.
I can't do this by myself.
I surrender to you. So many painful thoughts travel through my mind, and I wonder how I will make it through this time. But I'll trust.
It's not easy.
Lord, it's not easy. Sometimes the pain in my life
Makes you seem so far away.
seem far away, but I'll trust. I need to know you're here.
As long as I know you're here, Father, I know I can make it.
Through the tears and the pain,
Thank you, Jesus.
through the heartache and rain, I'll trust you.
Oh God, I trust you. Sometimes it's so hard because everything that I see tells me not to believe.
Everything that I see tells me not to believe, but I'll trust you, Lord. You have never found me. My past still controls me.
Things that happened to me 10 years ago.
Less hurt ever leave.
Yeah.
I can only trust you. No one loves like you do.
But it's the thoughts in my mind.
So many painful thoughts travel through my mind, and I
Wonder how I will make it.
will make it through.
Oh God, but I trust you.
I'll trust. Lord, it's not easy.
Sometimes the pain in my life,
Sometimes the pain.
oh God, it makes you seem so far away. Can I get a witness, somebody? But God, I trust you.
Hey, good evening and welcome to the Let's Stay Together show. Yeah, we caught you, Monica. We caught you over there talking. Hey, this is your host, Reverend Rick McCain, and I'm here with my baby, my girl, my boo, author Brenda McCain of Walking Upright. Hey, baby, how you doing, girl?
Hey, Ricardo.
Hey, I like that, Ricardo.
I tried to roll the R.
You did a good job, baby.
Okay. Well,
Do what you do over here now.
Okay. Welcome to the Let's Stay Together show, where we learn the rhythms of all relationships. And to know our glory, you have to know our backstory.
Amen.
The month of May is Dating and Relationship Month. And tonight's topic is about the war of all wars, the battle of the sexes. Can you hear me? And do you care? Do that again, baby.
Hey, let's get ready to rumble.
Sound effects. Okay. Since there was man and woman, there's been a battle of the sexes. It's not that men and women don't get along, because we know they do. It's just because men and women's brains are wired completely differently, and that makes for some interesting drama when it comes to building loving and mutually fulfilling relationships. So let's talk about the language barrier of the male and female sex and how communication, or the lack of, can be misinterpreted. Welcome to the McCain train. Woo-hoo! On board tonight is, let me go through this again. On board tonight is licensed clinical professional counselor Dr. Lisa Rembert. Hello. And our power couples, Rick and Lisa Johnson. They don't know they are power couples, but they are power couples. Attorney Anthony Plaid and his lovely wife, Miss Monica. And, of course, Tracy in the house.
Yeah, of course, Tracy in the house. Hey, we're going to be talking about the battle of the sexes. Can you hear me? And do you care? We got a guest here today. So I'm going to just start off real quick. What, baby?
Can't start off real quick without the word. Let me get one scripture in.
Sacrilege.
Yeah.
I didn't say the word. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians 14:33 says, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints." And we're going to try to have peace on the McCain train tonight. Now, go ahead, baby.
We're going to try. You know, I'd really like if you start reading that King James version, you know, because I'm like, I really don't understand what those things are. I'm like, what was that scripture? Give me the King James back. Anybody that believes in that, just call me and say, I want King James. But let me start on it, since I'm acting a little crazy here. It's the battle of the sexes. I want King James. I don't know what you want.
I don't even hear you.
James. But let me. This is what we've got here. We've got the battle of the sexes. Can you hear me? And do you care? So I'm just going to have an open discussion here with you all. What is it about the relationship? And I'm going to go to my namesake first. I'm just going to pick a name out. I'm going to go to my namesake first. Yeah, Rick, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out.
Okay.
I want to know, what is it about relationships where a man and a woman have so much problems with communication?
Well, first of all, we kind of communicate a lot differently, because a man has one thing he wants to do, and the woman has another thing she wants to do. So we're kind of selfish. So what happens is I want her to do certain things, and when I talk to her, she might pretty much not understand what I'm saying to her, even though I think I'm clear in everything that I'm saying, but she's like, I don't understand. I really she gets kind of mad. She gets kind of angry at the way I say it.
We have cut out pronoun usage for Rick. Rick cannot use pronouns so that we can understand his communication.
So you say about pronouns, what can't Rick say? Because I want to make sure that's just for that Rick, because she might start saying it
might be universal, babe.
Right. Okay. He can't say he, she, they. I need specific names, because there could be 5 he's in the conversation and everybody is he. And he said, and then I talked to him.
Yeah, just one word that I can say in a sentence. If it's not the right word, it's the wrong thing to say. So I got to make sure I say it properly in a proper grammar, so to make sure everything is proper.
That's right. Proper.
And so, Lisa, why does he have to make sure that he doesn't use the pronouns? What does that do for you, or the miscommunication gets lost when he does that? What happens then?
I can't follow what he's trying to say. So we had a discussion. If you want to communicate with me,
that was a communication right there.
I need to understand the message that you're trying to get across. Because if I don't understand the message, communication has not occurred.
And so what we have, you got something you want to say, baby? I thought you was moving over there. I want to make sure we're communicating right.
I'm letting you have this moment.
Okay, so I'm going to have this moment. Thank you. This magic moment. So, Anthony, talk to me about this. I have an issue. I have an issue. Sometimes when I talk to my wife, it's hard to follow her, okay? Because she'll be talking about things. I saw that look on her face, but radio can't see the look, so we're okay. But I have a hard time following her. Is it sometimes where men seem to get lost in the translation of a message? Because my wife always tell me, well, another woman understand, but last time I checked, I wasn't the other woman. And so where does that translation sometimes get lost, where a woman is talking, but the man doesn't seem to understand?
I think it just gets lost in the pure volume of the words. Sometimes they just.
You said we have too many words for you guys to understand, attorney?
That was a low key. Y'all talk too much.
I don't understand. Tell me what you mean.
we finna rumble today
Yes, we
now, boy.
are.
Hey, you know what? And man, keep talking. Preach.
All the girls' pictures will be really cute. I don't know about the guys.
But in the short, I think what happens is sometimes women do tend to use more words, and they may go on these tangents, and you just really want them to hurry up and say what they got to say, but they choose to take the longer route, which I believe Monica has a nice description for that. But that can sometimes be where the being lost in the conversation or the talking comes up.
And I know Monica really has something she wants to add on to that. So come on, honey, tell me what you got to say.
Well, everything that he is saying is definitely true. And so, yes, we have more words.
Yes, we do.
Definitely have more words in a day that we need to get out. And besides that, we like to describe. We are a lot more descriptive, and we're a lot more emotional.
Mm-hmm.
So, Reverend McCain, when you say the translation gets lost, I don't think the translation gets lost. I think the man just doesn't care.
Amen.
I think that's what
They
it
just
is.
don't.
After a while, he's tired of hearing what we're talking about.
And so, go ahead,
Dr.
baby.
Lisa,
Yeah,
what
I'm
you
gonna go
have
there.
to say?
I would say that women describe a lot because we're trying to make sure that you understand that what we're saying, and men process more inside. It's not that they don't like a lot of words, they just don't like outside words. And they do a lot of processing in the mind, and then they come out with 1 or 2 word examples. That's what happens.
And let me just say this. I notice that a lot of times when someone is talking to me, and she's on my right side, when someone's talking to me, she wants to paint the whole picture.
I sure do,
And
baby.
so I'm not looking for the whole picture. I want bullet points. And so in some cases, I get lost because I've already understood what she's saying, but if I continue to listen, then it's like, okay, so what are you really talking about? And it seems like sometimes that translation gets lost where the man has an idea, but if he listens too long, that idea may be faded because they may be talking about something else. How can you help with that situation where the man understands, but the woman doesn't seem to see that he understands what they're talking about?
A lot of time in communication, what people do is they say, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" And the answer usually is yes or uh-huh. But instead of saying, "Do you understand?" it's better to say, "Can you tell me what you heard me say?"
Amen.
And then you'll know whether or not
So you're
there's
trying
more
to
to
catch
say.
us now. Is that what you're trying to catch us, And so it happens that way sometimes, because I know one time me and my wife was talking on the phone, long time we was dating each other, and she was talking, and I had on speakerphone, and I walked away. I literally walked away from the phone because I heard what she was saying. I knew what she was talking about. I knew the answer. I went upstairs and got me something to eat, came back down, says, and then came back, and I was still able to be in the conversation because I already picked up what she was saying. So in a lot of cases, does it mean, and anyone can answer this question, I'm going to go back around this way. Tracy, you can always add in if you want to.
I will.
Does it mean that the man shuts off because he knows the answer and he doesn't need any more communication?
I think it's more the man shuts off because he thinks he knows the answer.
What if he knows the
That
answer?
is Dr.
What if he
Lisa.
knows the answer? Come on now.
I think he thinks he knows the answer.
I know the answer is go pick up some food at 7 o'clock.
But the issue is that if you just go pick up the food, 9 times out of 10 he'll come back with the wrong food. So that's why women describe more to make sure they comes back with the right food.
Calling
All
you
right,
50
man.
million
This is the
times
battle
on
of the
phone.
sexes. So
I'm just
What
figuring
did
out
she
what
say?
makes the food wrong.
we got to come up with something there because hey baby, do me real quick. Give out the telephone number so if people want to call in. You can also Facebook us as well. Go ahead, girl.
You didn't communicate that to me correctly.
I'm sorry. Baby, can you give the telephone numbers so that people can call in?
Okay, darling.
Thank you.
Indiana, 219-933-9922. Suburbs, 708-445-9922. Chicago, 773. You know y'all need help. 773-288-9922.
Hey, you've got some questions on there. You got something you want
Yeah,
to
I
shout
want
out
to lead
real
with
quick?
that first question.
Okay.
During a stressful situation or argument, why do men choose not to talk about their problems and women like to talk to others about their problem? I'm sure the men agree with that. We talk, according to attorney over there, since he said we like to talk. So I want to go back to you, Lisa, with the expert opinion, then go all the way around.
I think during stressful situations, one of the reasons why, again, that women talk a lot about it is because they're trying to get that out. We're more intimate, and in our intimacy, we like to share and make sure that you're connecting with us on an emotional level. I think a lot of times men are more uncomfortable with that emotional level, and so they tend to shut off. Our society teaches men in a lot of ways not to show emotion, not to be concerned with that, but to show this strength that a lot of times doesn't allow them to share their emotions. So for them, they're thinking, if I show that much emotion, maybe my wife or the woman who I'm talking to doesn't see me as the strong man that I am. Not realizing that for women, if you show your emotion, you look more powerful.
Yes.
Okay.
Our husbands need notepads. Can you say that again, Lisa?
That's a namesake.
Well, you know, that's
Lisa over there, number 2, Lisa.
That's a shot. I think women 1, men nothing on that. We got to get it. No, it's 1-1 because yours.
Thank you.
So you said that we need notepads. Now I'm gonna go back for a second because you said something like about men, and their feelings. A lot of times with men, they are afraid if they show their feelings that the women may not accept them. That's why we got, can you hear me and do you care? I've opened up my feelings to let you know how I feel, and then you tell me, well, be a man. And so you've got that reverse thing that's happening, that we're told that a man's supposed to be strong and not show his feelings, but when that man does, he gets knocked down for it. So somebody else add on to that. Go ahead.
But also, we pretty much sometimes we don't even think that we have a problem at times. The thing is that we kind of go to one thing. If we feel some stress going on, we want to get to the next thing because that's how we work. We kind of rationalize everything, and women are more emotional. So we want to make sure that we stay strong, like Lisa said on my right. But also,
he's a sandwich in between 2 Lisas.
That's bad. But also, we just want to. When we come to our wives for certain things and they just reject us, a lot of times we're going to shut down. So we're not going to come back to you again to let you to keep shutting us down.
Oh, that's how you
and
feel.
so let me ask, is anybody else? Go ahead. You got something you want to say?
Yeah, just to piggyback a little bit off of Rick, and what that is, it's a little bit of ego, and it can be damaged, especially by your wife. So that's why this whole communication thing is important, because if you're not communicating support or building your husband, then he will tend to shut down, and you'll probably get less emotion from him.
Tracy, you have anything to say? Monica?
I'm wondering why all these women are so quiet tonight.
That's because the men are in control. That's what it is.
There has never been a day when the men were in control, even when we had an all-male panel. So let's get to talking women.
Okay, so let me ask this question. We're talking about marriage. Let's drop down a little bit and go to dating, where two people are in a relationship with each other and they're trying to get to understand each other. We know that men are really bullet point and women can talk a little bit more than bullet points. And so when that happens, what should the men, I'm going to ask the women to answer this question. What should the woman do when she knows that she has a man that attention span may not be as detailed as she wants him to be?
I think for men, they respond to encouragement and being acknowledged. So if she can get her man's attention by acknowledging, stroke his ego, yeah. As long as it's honest, it's all good. Yeah. Right, like my husband's love language is words of affirmation. So if she can grab his attention with these words of affirmation and then communicate what's important to her, I think that she can kind of train him to have a longer attention span.
And they don't even know they're being trained.
You know, to piggyback off of that, I told my wife a long time ago that if you want me to go shopping, don't take me there for the first time and go 6 hours. I said, go shopping one time for just 30 minutes and just stop. And then just keep on doing that, maybe an hour or something. Then you'll get me trained into being there for a while. But if you take me there for 6 hours, you lost me for the next 6 times because I'm not coming back.
A lot of times the women, we try to tell them what to do for us, but a lot of times they don't want to do it. It's like, well, you want you to do it this way. and that's the only way. But we just trying to tell you, if you do this, you can train me. I'm telling you how to train me, but you don't want to do it.
I think the other thing is because men do process fewer things at a time. For women, it's better to prioritize. If I have 10 things that I want to share with you or share with my husband, then I prioritize what are the things that I need to address first, and then if there are give him time to process it, and then let him know about the other things.
Okay, so now this caveman that you're talking about, why is it that men can't process things more than time? Why do you feel that way?
Well, just because you just said it. You just said that
Which is bullet point. Bullet point doesn't mean that we can't process, though. It just means that we've already processed.
Come on, Dr. Lisa,
we've already
get him.
processed what you just said.
You actually said bullet points and not too much information. So bullet points and not too much information means less processing or processing at a slower rate. Therefore, if there are 10 items, rather than give you all 10 or 10 things I want to pick up at the store, like you said, then rather than do 10, maybe I'll give you my priority of the top 3. And once we get that covered, then I'll add the other 3 and so on until I get through the 10. So not to overload you, so it's just like you said, to make you more comfortable about doing it, and so that eventually you will be shaped into doing it for a longer period of time.
See, it almost sounds like she's saying train up a child the way he should go.
That's what we are
That's the
doing.
way I do my
I'm
kids.
like, wait a minute here. Go ahead, Anthony.
Do all things in moderation.
I don't necessarily think that the bullet point means less processing. I think that we can process in bullet points, and we just don't need the extra fill in the bullet points. We can process all the information you're giving to us that's kind of relevant to the bullet point. But once you get too far off the bullet point, we're like, why is this here?
And I totally agree with you, is that sometimes we get to a point where it's too much information, and a man is a doer. And so if they hear something, they're ready to do it. Pick up some milk. The store is right across the street. I don't need to be told what store. And so we process.
You know what? A woman usually will tell you what store because there's a better deal on the milk or the product at this certain store we want you to go to. But when I'm going to let you talk, Monica, but see, when women are talking to men, we are multitaskers. And you guys, no offense, it's one thing at a time. You process one thing at a time. We get that. And yes, we do paint a picture, because if we don't, I could say, Rick, baby, go to the store. I need some spaghetti, some wheat spaghetti by whoever, the cheapest brand. You'll come back with something totally different. It's like, I didn't tell you to get that.
Who are you talking about,
You.
girl?
Wait,
I am
we
gotta
talking
have a
to
station
you.
identification here, because
It
in
might
our
not
house,
be spaghetti.
In our house,
It
I
might-
know
and don't be
more
messing
about
my
what-
image up on the
Wait a
radio.
minute. Wait a minute. In our house, I know more what we need than you do.
What we need now? What we need?
Toilet paper.
No, we got that. we got toilet paper. Now let me. We
It's
could
like,
go on
so
with this.
you-
No.
Men, you make it seem like men can't process more than 2 or 3 things, and we get lost.
Maybe we don't trust you guys to do that because you do.
Now
get
here,
lost.
now we hit on something. The trust factor.
Yeah.
Women not trusting that the man. Now, why is that? Somebody, Monica,
Why does
talk to me
ring on the
about
wrong
that.
finger?
Because it's hurting my finger. But talk to me about that.
First of all, I do want to say it is factual. It is proven that men process
By other
at a
doctors.
slower rate and less information than women in a given time. Right.
Look it up, baby, when
Cite
you
your
go
sword,
home.
please.
Well, I will
I like
definitely.
that. Cite your source, please.
There is a book called The Sacred Influence, which I did read. It's a religious book, a spiritual
Nobody
book.
told you to find this influence.
I don't remember the author's name. It's Bruce, but I can't think of his last name. Okay.
I could Google
But
it
he
quick.
goes into detail about men. So it's a book to women from a man, and he breaks down men. And he breaks them. He
literally
breaks them
break 'em
down.
down.
Right. He literally breaks them down. But it's very helpful to women. So I do suggest that book. But it is a fact. And so nothing against you guys. But also you all compartmentalize. So that attributes to you all, only being able to process a certain amount of information at a certain time.
I love how they're trying to be
Thank
careful
you.
with some of the words they're trying to say, other than say that we ain't got no sense at all. But
I think the women won that round.
okay,
darling.
Rick, you want to add something real quick?
I was just gonna say Monica was looking right at him when she was saying that. That's all.
She was.
Right at her husband. She was looking at you first when she was talking. Then when she said the one word, yeah, she just looked right at him.
Yeah, and I'm like departmentalized. I know what department to go to. But let me ask you this: we were talking about this trust factor. So now we got somebody out there that's dating someone. Doctor, talk to me about this. I'm talking to a young man that I like a lot, but he doesn't seem to be listening to me. How do you help a young lady with the frustration of this person that she cares about, but the communication is not what she wants it to be?
I think the way you begin a foundation is the way it'll end. So if she has a problem with his communication, she needs to share that to him and say to him, I don't feel that you're listening, and really check that out. He may be able to say back to her, yes, I did hear you. I heard you say this, that, and the other, or maybe I didn't. Maybe he'll come back and say what you all said. Well, I'll try to listen, but I get lost in the detail. If you can make it shorter for me, then I can listen more, be more attentive. But I think it's just about letting people know what you need. Sometimes you have to teach people how to help you rather than just put it all on him.
Amen. That was one of the first things you said that I did like.
That's a woman point, right?
That was a nice way of not really like knocking us down to the bare minimum.
No, the women got 3 points, right?
Is the women keeping the score?
Yes.
Okay, that's right. Go ahead, baby. See what you got to say.
Now I'm gonna go shoot to the other Lisa here, my non-Mohawk friend today, but still beautiful. This question is: why do women like small gestures that men do not understand?
I'm so glad you chose that question, because Rick and I were discussing it, and I read the question, and he said, what are small gestures? And I was like, exactly. That's the question.
That's only because men don't do small things. We do things big, so we don't understand what it means to do something small. We do things big screen TVs, we do things big. But go ahead.
Small gestures communicate that you're paying attention to us, and you're paying attention to things that matter. And if we only wait for you to do big gestures, those are a lot of times, depending on how much money you may have, how much time you have, they can be delayed by excuses. You know, if we're not acting right, you may not do that big screen TV that you get for us, but you really want it for yourself.
Is that another point?
I ain't gonna lie. Right.
I think that's another point.
No, that ain't
Y'all getting classified.
Because it really is not for us. It's
really
like Rick, you made a good example. I was talking to school last week. I say, Rick, I need my car to get some gas, and the car's on empty. He washes the car, detail the car, bring it home. There's no gas in the car.
This is not a true story.
But it's a great example.
Yeah.
See, that's a small gesture. Do what I ask you to do. It's nice if you do what I ask you to do. And then the other stuff, it's like, look at my man. But the car's shiny and pretty and you can't even drive it. So that's what we mean by small gestures. Pick up your underwear, just all that other stuff, Go ahead, Rick.
Well, I know what small gestures are because I do those as well. I open the door for her. Every time I open the door for my wife and other women see this in the car, they hit their husband like, what's wrong with you?
And Lisa and I've personally seen this, and Lisa gets curbside service everywhere.
And so do I, and love it.
I've done that for like 20 years of our relationship. Take it off. But one of the things I'm going to say, I think we got like 2 minutes before we go to station break, is that men do small gestures, but I want to be able to talk about what does that mean toward a woman, and if I'm doing small gestures, when does a big gesture need to be done?
You should know when a big gesture should be done.
I stopped them all talking.
Hey, that's good. I mean, if you wanted in the women tonight,
if you really know your woman, you would know when a big gesture.
No. Wait a minute.
That was a point.
Now, let me tell you something. If you really know your woman, so you're trying to say like the man has to know the woman. The woman doesn't. You all just said you got to train the man to do something. Now we got to know him. Make up your mind. Which one you want us to do?
I hope the trainer
Do we got to know you, or you going to tell us how to do it? Which one do you want from us?
After all the training, you should know her.
Small gestures, then you got to let us know when that small gesture needs to be a bigger gesture than a small gesture.
No, I do not agree. And see, so you're making me go to the Bible, but the Bible tells a man to study his wife, and so when you all do small gestures, that means that we know that you care about us, that you love us, and you've been watching us, you understand us. That's what small gestures mean.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Bible too. It also tells the wives to submit. Hey, we're gonna go to our station of identification. Hazel, you got me? Do your thing, girl.
This is Rejoice 102.3 WYCA FM and HD Crete, Chicago, WPWX Hammond, Chicago, HD Channel 2, and WYRB Genoa, Rockford, DeKalb, HD Channel 3.
Patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind love, patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind love, love. A word that comes and goes, but few people really know what it means to really love somebody. Love, though the tears may fade away, I'm so glad your love will stay. 'Cause I love you, and you show me, Jesus, what it really means to patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind love, patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind love. The nights that I cried, you love me. When I should have died, you love me. I'll never know why you love me. It's a mystery to me now. I'm glad to see Jesus. When all hope was gone, you loved me. You gave me a song that you love me. Now I can go on 'cause you love me. It's a mystery to me now. I'm glad to see Jesus. What it really means. No, what it really means. What it really means to patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind love, patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind love, patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind love, patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind love.
Talking first. I was gonna let them talk first, but why is it that I'm trying to do one thing over here, you hit me on the hand, I'm trying to listen to her too, and they said men can't multitask. Men are multitask. I'm doing everything here. I'm looking at the thing here. I'm doing everything. Okay, girl, say what you got to say. Just
Thank you. Say, looking for a good cause, support the McCain train. We are looking for sponsors, and we are asking for love offerings to support our show. You can donate $25 a month to help support the show or whatever God has placed in your heart. Please send all love offerings to the Let's Stay Together Show, P.O. Box 902, South Holland, Illinois, 60473. Hey, those call-in numbers again are Indiana, I get distracted. Indiana, 219-933-9922. Suburb 708-445-9922. Chicago, 773-288-9922. And be very cautious if you're brave enough to call in, because your head will get cut off if you do not say the right answer for the women.
And so you've just been told, men, to call in so we can make sure we win this thing. I just want to say something real quick about, we always say about people donating to the show. I always ask people to pray about making the donation. We want people that want to help us keep this show on the air. So basically what we've asked people is that we can get 35 people to donate $25 for 6 months. And that's basically like $150. I don't want you to give the money just because I'm asking you to give the money. I want you to go to God in prayer And if God leads you to provide the money to help us with the show, God bless. If for some reason God does it, we pray that you'll continue to listen to the show anyway, because I know that God can do exceedingly abundantly more than we can ask or think, and we will be on the air. So I thank you very much for deciding to contribute to us and listening to the show. Baby, what you got to add there?
Tracy want to ask a question number 3. I think our third question.
Okay,
for the
so we
night.
got another woman asking a question. So
Wait, no man step forward. They got the same questions.
Anthony, I'm going to have you ask the next question for us.
I might be on the men's side with this one.
Okay.
Took it from her.
Why is it that men feel closer to women when they participate in sex, and women feel closer to a man when they are communicating and sharing personal, intimate experiences?
I'm going to throw out the reverend thing right here and saying hopefully you all are married when you're having the sex right there. But we know that that's not the case. But I got to throw that disclaimer out there. If you're having sex, you should be married. But after I said that, then we can go to the question. Go ahead. What was the question? Come on.
Ladies. Come on.
Why
now.
do men
I know
feel
y'all
closer?
having sex.
I mean, I don't want to answer why do men feel closer. I don't want to answer that one. So somebody answer that.
I'll answer that.
Ladies are losing.
Well, God made us a certain way.
Speak up.
Men are visual. So we're going to see a pretty woman. We're going to see her. We love her. I look at my wife. I'm like, man, I love my wife, and I want to be with my wife. So when I'm with her, I think about sex all the time. Don't laugh. That's how it is. I'm married. I can do that. But I was doing.
Married man say he thinks of sex all the time. Go ahead.
But
Rick.
the thing is that that's how I feel. If she like puts me down, where if I want to have sex and she says no, that kind of takes my ego, takes it away. So if she continues to do that, and I feel bad, like she doesn't want me, like I'm not the man that I need to be. And I'm not the man that she wants me to be, or she doesn't feel love. I don't feel love when she doesn't want to have sex with me. That's how men feel. So it's just, that's how God has made us. So women just got to deal with it.
That was beautiful, though. I mean.
So you feel the love when we have sex with you, and when we don't have sex with you, then you don't feel the love.
Shallow.
Yes.
Shallow, Rick. Shallow.
But we need to connect with our husbands,
right?
And so when we do that, that's when we feel love. That's when we feel closer to them, when they're sharing personal things that we can't read their minds, but we want to know you, and so getting to know what's on your mind is important to us. So then we feel closer when you're sharing those personal, intimate thoughts.
And I want to say that we put the question as though it was separate. But for women, sex is intimacy and communicating and sharing and all of that. But for us, it's more like a foreplay. Are you into me? Are you hearing me? Are you sharing with me? And a lot of times I think men don't realize that. I think men see sex more physical and wonder why the woman is not interested in them physically that way, not realizing that they've been having sex with her all day if they haven't been sharing.
That's true. That is true.
Okay, Monica.
All
I'm sorry.
right. Dr. Lisa, you kind of put it down for us. Exactly. So, Rick, I'm going to just address Rick since, you were talking on behalf of the men. So you said you don't feel loved, or the husband doesn't feel loved when the wife maybe turns him down for sex, or seems to maybe not be as interested. But when do we get our love? We need our love prior to, as Dr. Lisa was saying. So it starts for most women, not all women. For most women, it starts early in the day. It starts with that little love text saying, "Hey, baby, I miss you," or I can't wait to see you tonight.
Yeah.
So we want to get what we need as well.
Hey, hold on for a second, Lisa. We got a caller that is on the air. So, hey, Rodney, put that caller through. Hey, caller, welcome to the Let's Stay Together show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be listening.
Hey, who's calling?
My name is Pam Blaylock out of Olympia Field.
Hey, Pam, thanks for calling. So, Pam, talk to us for the men, Pam.
No, Pam.
Go ahead, Pam. Say what you got to say.
Well, I know right before commercial break you had said something about, women submitting to their husbands. And I'm listening to the whole dialogue, men versus women, women versus men. And one thing that me and my husband have kind of realized ourselves, when we stop trying to always be right and just try to get it right and try to set our pride and our egos aside, submitting is not so hard to do, because the Bible says that the husband's supposed to love his wife like he loves the church. And if I trust in God that my husband is a man of God, that God has already changed his heart, is protecting him, and he's my covering, I have no problems with me submitting to my husband, and because I know that he loves me, and I won't feel like a slave. I won't feel like he's gonna, make me do things, because if he loves me, and like God loves the church, like Jesus loved the church, I don't even have to worry about that. But if we spend more time as couples trying to be humble and truly loving each other, a lot of these conflicts, one being over the other, and women trying to take over, men trying to take over, and learn to love each other like Christ loves us, we'll be better off as a community.
Hey, Pam, I thank you very much for that. Basically what we're doing here is that, and I agree with you wholeheartedly on what you said, we're basically just doing here is that we're bringing on conflict because we know conflicts are out there in a relationship. Each couple here that's in a relationship with each other understands that submission, and basically I was just joking around with the submission part when we was leaving the air, but each man and woman here understands the submission. What we're doing basically right here is just saying how communication sometimes can falter when two people are not equally yoked. So I thank you very much for that. So you must have a great husband, right?
Absolutely.
So just give a shout out for your husband before you go.
Yes, I'd like to give a shout out to Pastor Adrian D. Blaylock.
Pastor! Hey, I know he all right. That was the key right there. Hey, Pam, thank you very much for calling.
Okay, well, I want to move on to the next
Wait a minute for a second. I'm gonna be nice because Lisa has something she wanted to add on, and so I'm gonna let Lisa add on until she says something I want to cut her off on. But go ahead, Lisa.
I think I have something a little better, because Pam mentioned trust, and then you mentioned trust earlier, and I think that's an important aspect of this conflict, because if I don't trust Rick, then I'll find myself debating with him a lot, and I'll find myself questioning everything he says, and that's going to cut off my connecting with him. It's going to cut off sex. It's going to cut off, our relating to one another. So it's important that we learn to trust, like Pam said, trust God, that your husband or that your wife is going to love you or respect you the way that you need to be respected, so that you two can grow and you can communicate.
And just real quickly, I think that what happens a lot of times sometimes is that the word sex and intimacy to a man is pretty much the same thing, but it doesn't translate that way. We want sexual relationships with our wives, but it is intimacy to us, but we don't say it in an intimate way. It's just sex, and then it gets thrown out of proportion. Most men do love having a sexual relationship with their wives. I'm going to still say wives. And they enjoy that, but the communication that they have the same intimate feeling that the woman has gets lost in that translation, because we use the word sex and women use the word intimacy. And Doctor, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, then I'll come back at you like the battle of the sexes that we're doing. But baby, you got something else you want to add? So we got to stop her because she helping them too much. Go ahead.
Well, she is a female, so she has the right to help.
Yeah, but I paid her off.
Okay, next question is, does resentment develop when one person feels that they are giving more in the relationship?
Go ahead, baby. I was playing around. What you say that again? I'm trying to pay off.
Does resentment right, have to do it real slow. Does resentment develop when one person feels that they are giving more in the relationship? Oh, Anthony.
Ooh, he hurried up and grabbed
Okay.
I don't see how it probably does. And that's probably a natural human response, but I think the way to deal with that is you're not really supposed to be concerned a whole lot with what your spouse is doing. You're supposed to be giving what you're supposed to give in your marriage, regardless of what the other person is doing. And if both people are doing that, it helps a lot. But if you're in your marriage and your commitment is to the way God has a marriage and to set up marriage, as opposed to what what you're doing in the marriage, then that would help that resentment not to build up. But of course, we are human, and that is a natural reaction to if you feel like that you may be doing more. But sometimes your feelings may be inaccurate. You might think you're doing more while your spouse may be thinking they're doing enough or doing more, and it's just they're doing it a different way or different things that hey, we're men and women, we don't agree on everything, and then and that just might be the case.
That's it in a nutshell right there.
I like that you said in a different way. Maybe they're giving, but they're giving in a different way that the spouse doesn't understand because they don't operate that way. And so we're going to give an example because I know this is part of what Anthony was thinking about. So he's gone to school. He's got a lot of schooling. His plan has always been to be in the workforce. And that's what you do. And you get up and you go to work at 8 in the morning and you work your 9 to 5. But I have an entrepreneurial spirit. He can't understand me, I don't think, at all. But I feel like that's what my calling is. That's what's in my nature. And so does it balance out on what he brings in and what I bring in? No. But I'm still working on my things and things like that. So yeah, it's just everybody's different, and so I think that we just have to learn to understand that people are different.
I think that resentment can develop, but it doesn't have to. It all depends on how you perceive the relationship, how you define what giving is, and how you measure it over a time period. Because maybe now one person is giving more, but maybe before someone else was giving. And so a lot of times people say that marriage is 50-50, but it's not. Marriage is 100% each person. Mm-hmm. And so maybe I'm giving my 100 now because you're not able to give your 100 today, but you're still 100% giver. And so resentment doesn't have to develop if you have that communication, if you have more understanding, and that if you are perceptive of each other and are committed to work together.
Well, let me just say this much. One, being real as I can be, we do know that there are relationships where people are giving more than the other individual. That is going to happen, and resentment will occur. And I'm not going to give an answer to that, but I just want someone to talk about how do I remove the resentment when I know that I'm giving a whole lot and that person is just sitting on there being a couch potato. Because there are situations where a person is doing a lot more. We want to sit there and say the spiritual answer, well, this is nice and God is this. But we do have situations where people are out there and they need to know, what do I do? I have gotten resentment. I'm tired of doing all the work. What do I do when I'm tired of that? I love the person, but I'm tired of them not doing as much as I'm doing. What do you say to them?
You go back to the thing that we talked about earlier. It's that communication thing. It's defining roles. It's coming together as one and identifying the tasks and responsibilities that need to be done. And each person has to have a commitment themselves. What creates commitment in relationship is the feeling that I'm being heard, I'm being understood, and so are you. Rather than this is all about you and my needs are not being met or heard. So sometimes that creates couch potatoes. Sometimes people don't have a clear understanding of what it means to be in a relationship, in a marriage. And sometimes they need training in that to realize that it is their responsibility to give their all. Sometimes we have to realize that when we get married, we marry a family. We marry family values. We marry family methods. We marry what we saw or didn't see. And a lot of times we go in guessing and not realizing that my goal as a wife should be to do what I can to please my husband, and his goal should be to please me.
Okay, so you got anybody else want to add on to that? Go ahead.
On that. Well, for me, as a man and a husband, I always felt that I was supposed to give more than my wife, for me. Because I feel like that's what God has put me on this earth to do, to take care of my wife, my kids. And I don't care how much money she makes. I'll make all the money and she can spend it all, as long as we don't go broke.
You heard that. Audience, right.
But I put that little asterisk.
As long as we
don't
go
broke.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard the disclaimer.
But again, even though I feel that way, that I want to do everything, it still creeps up on me where I feel like I'm being, taken advantage of or whatever. Because if she doesn't say, well, you're doing this right, you're doing that, everything I'm doing is wrong, a lot of times I can be like, man, I don't really want to do anything. But again, I keep fighting that to be the man of God that he's called me to be, to take care of my wife and do everything that she needs and to give her what she needs.
And the Bible does teach us to not get weary in doing well. And also, in everything that we do, we're working as unto the Lord, because that's where our reward comes from. So we have to focus on, why am I doing all of these things? Am I doing it to motivate my spouse to get up off the couch and do something else? Or am I doing it to please God?
And I like that, Lisa, because basically a covenant relationship is a relationship that you have with Christ. And that in that covenant relationship, you're going to give 100% because God requires that in a marriage you do that. And so if both person is giving 100% to God, you're not looking at the other person's, what they're doing. You're only concentrated on what you're doing. And even in a relationship, if you take that same value and just make sure that you give 100%, and I'm praying that everybody that listening knows Jesus Christ. And if you don't know Jesus Christ, we can save you today. But with that said, if you're in a relationship and you're giving 100% and you don't look, and I always tell my wife that what my philosophy is, I'm going to give you 100%, you give me 100%, and if we do that, we're going to be fine. I'm not going to look at what you're giving. I'm only going to give you what I give, and you give to me. And if we don't look at each other what we're giving, then we'll be fine.
Okay, well, all those are some great points. I need to make some quick announcements before we go to our last three questions. Okay. As always, we give a special shout out to our pastor, James T. Meeks, and personally Jamel of Salem Baptist Church in Chicago.
Greatest church in the world.
And designs by SandraBallinger.com. Please click on her link and like her on Facebook. Okay, everyone, I would like prayers to go up for the family of Vanessa Dallas. We are praying of the passing of her own husband and our own Reverend Orlando Dallas. So please keep her lifted in prayer and give her strength. Also, please keep the family of Jason Gandy, right? Gandy in your prayers. Special announcement. Get ready for the Woman to Woman Empowering Event W2W fundraiser coming July 19th. More details to come about that. Next week's show is about the pain of my past is affecting my future. I'm scared to date. And we need people for this show because y'all know y'all scared to date.
Yeah, I am. And as you can see, we're empowering women. So, we just want to let you all know we're empowering the women.
Yes, we are empowering women.
The men are already in power. We're just empowering the women. Is that what we're doing?
Yes. No. You almost had me then. No. Look, I'm about to go backwards here from number 7 because I'm not going to go to number 5
Just before you
here.
do that, I just want to say, something about Pastor Orlando Dallas. Good friend of mine. I've been knowing him for more than 20-some-odd years, 25 years, put that back. I just saw a videotape about him sitting right there with Lisa, sitting there doing a show here on WYCA. He was an awesome man of God, and I will really miss him. I'm going to stop from crying right now, but he was an awesome man of God, knew the word very well, and I will miss you very much, my friend. Go ahead.
Okay. This question is, why do men and women expect or assume the opposite sex should think, feel, or act the way they do? And I'm going to pose that to Monica first.
Well, I think that they feel that way because in the dating, when you're dating, it seems like they do act, feel, and think just like you do. Yes. But then when you get married, the masks come off, and all of a sudden it's like, well, who is this person? He doesn't even like to talk on the phone that much.
Right. All of a sudden, conversation stops.
But previous to that, we could have 2-hour conversations, 3-hour conversations on the phone and talk about everything. And so I think that's where
you trying to grab
we get that from.
Oh.
Previous to that, we didn't live in the same house, and phone calls were necessary. Once we live in the same location, there's no need to be on the phone, especially for 2 or 3 hours.
And you know what? I like that, Auntie. That was a good one. I just said that my wife was on the phone, and I walked away and wasn't listening that much because I understood what she was saying. So I thought that was good. Anthony.
Okay, well, we going since he just
I'm
told
not going to add on anything.
our producer said we have 5 minutes. Tracy, you had something to say? I'm about to shoot to this next question.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna give Rick's favorite line. I gotta play devil's advocate here, because women, we are usually the ones doing all the pretending during the dating phase.
Ooh, wow.
Sorry.
Take out the wig.
Evening show.
Next question is, how can a couple avoid arguments in a relationship? That's a $1 million question.
This is going to actually be our last question for the day, because we're going to be wrapping it up too.
So we only have one more after that.
And here comes that argument.
And,
Yeah.
and we have something called the after show.
Yes, we do. So go ahead.
And I think the best answer is do not communicate at all.
Wait a minute. Okay,
In other words, you can't.
So let me get this straight. What was the question? Why is that the question here?
No, the $1 million question was, how can a couple avoid arguments in a relationship? Do not communicate.
Because arguments happen, and I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with conflict because they assume maybe that there's something wrong. And conflicts are necessary so that you can work through your relationship, so that you can mature, so that you can understand one another. So it's okay to have an argument. You just have to learn how to disagree without being disagreeable.
Okay, now. Well,
Right.
she made
So
a
to
point.
me, that's it's a definition. Are we disagreeing or are we arguing? Because arguments are not necessary. You don't have to have an argument, but you can have a disagreement, just like Lisa said, and you can voice your opinion, just like she said, without being nasty to each other.
So, baby, we are going to have an after show to finish this up, because I'm going to be talking about this Lisa talking about not talking to each other over there. And I got to get this other Lisa over here, this doctor that ain't paid off, and she keep on coming up with too many good answers. But, baby, do your thing.
We are now at the last stop on the McCain train. Where my whoop whoops at?
Woo woo!
Okay. And we would like to thank our guests, Dr. Lisa Rimbert, Rick and Lisa Johnson, attorney Anthony and Monica Platt, along with our faithful loyal listeners. Please look for the final stop after show on our Facebook page tonight. If you have enjoyed this broadcast, please contact WYCA at 773-734-4455 and inform them that you want more of these informative discussions. Y'all agree, right?
Yes.
Oh, I love this group. Yeah,
So
let's stand together.
Hey, we're going to have that after show, and so you definitely want to catch this one on here, baby. We want to give a special thank out to Daryl King and the Bling Bling.
Bling, bling,
you
bling,
can listen
bling.
to her every day from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's my girl. You got to listen to Daryl. We hope you enjoyed the show, and the title was, again, because I forget everything, is The Battle of the Sexes. Can you hear me, and do you care? We'd like to thank our guests again. See us next Tuesday, 7:30. Hey, I got about, 30 seconds? I'm using all my time. I got 1 minute. 1 minute. Baby, you got anything else you want to say real quick?
I'm about to say we're going to blow you guys out of the water. If
Men won this round.
Can I
Men
just
won.
say this in the 30 seconds?
Okay,
I
30
have?
seconds. Great. Go ahead.
See, he's not trainable. He's
Okay.
not trainable.
I got
Name
some.
saying. No, name saying.
Okay.
Look, the women are going to blow the men out of the water in our after show. If our photographer is in agreement with it, we're going to do it quick, we're going to do it swift, and we're going to whoop y'all butt.
Hey,
That's
thank
all
you
I
for
have.
listening to the Let's Stay Together show. We'll see you next Tuesday at 7:30. Thank you.
Kind love, sweet love, kind love, love. A word that comes and goes, but few people really know what it means to really love somebody. Love, though the tears may fade away, I'm so glad your love will stay. 'Cause I love you, and you show me, Jesus, what it really means to patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind love, patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind love.
You You have been listening to Reverend Rick McCain and author Brenda McCain. If you would like to be a sponsor of this show, please contact them at Let's Stay Together at Comcast.net or send your monetary donations and financial gifts to the Let's Stay Together Show. Post Office Box 902, South Holland, Illinois 60473. That's P.O. Box 902, South Holland, Illinois 60473. Be blessed. Join Keno as he hosts the Gospel Skate Jam with Rejoice 1023 live at Glenwood Skating Rink, located at 656 Holbrook Road, Glenwood, Illinois, Saturday, June 7th, 8 p.m. till 11 p.m. Come on out and skate to your favorite gospel hits. Plus, Chicago's own New Direction Choir will be performing. This is a family event, so parents, bring your children for some good, clean fun. That's Saturday, June 7th, 8 p.m. till 11 p.m. at Glenwood Skate for the Gospel Skate Jam with Rejoice 1023. We'll see you there.
It feels like you're frozen.